Hey students, so today we are going to discuss the topic of electricity and magnetism. Okay, so the first one is atoms. So, what is an atom? If you take any matter like a book, water, or your own hand and zoom in as close as possible, you will find that everything is made of tiny building blocks called atoms. Okay, so all matter is made of atoms. Atoms are very small pieces of matter, but they are not the smallest pieces of matter. Atoms are made of even smaller pieces or particles. So, think of atoms like microscopic Lego bricks that build the entire universe. Atoms are incredibly small, but they are made of even smaller pieces called subatomic particles. Okay? Some of these particles have a property called electric charge. There are two types of electric charge, positive and negative. Particles with a positive electric charge are called positive charges, and particles with a negative electric charge are called negative charges. So, basically, they are saying that inside an atom there are three types of particles, and basically two types, but we have three types like protons, electrons, and neutrons, which we will discuss in details. Okay, so and they carry different types of electric charges like positive, negative, and also neutral. Okay, so positive charge. Objects have more positive charges than negative charges, and negatively charged particles object have more negative charges than positive charges. Okay, some objects are not positively charged or negatively charged. We say they are neutral. Neutral objects have the same number of positive charges as negative charges. Okay, so say this neutral charges like as we have discussed that some objects are not positively charged or negatively charged. We say they are neutral. Neutral objects have the same number of positive charge as negative charge. Like in this 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 positive charges. And this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So they have equal number of positive and negative charges. Neutral object. Positive charge. Positive charge objects have more positive charges than negative charges. As you guys can see that in this diagram we have 4 positive charge and 2 negative charge. Okay? Same in the case of negatively charged, like they have more negative charges than positive charges. In this diagram, we have 8 negative charges and 4 positive charges. Okay. So the next one is when objects are rubbed together, negative charge can move between them. Positive charges do not move between objects as easily as negative charges do. Okay, look at this diagram carefully. How a plastic rod and wool acquire charge during the rubbing process. Okay, so the first step is at the start, the plastic rod and the piece of wool are both completely neutral. This means they have a perfect equal balance of positive and negative charge. Okay, and the second step, when we act rubbing, like when you rub the plastic rod with the wool, friction forces the tiny negative charges to move from the wool over onto the plastic rod. Okay, and the result is that the plastic rod, because it collected extra negative charges, it becomes negatively charged. And the wool, because it lost some of its negative charge, it is left with more positive charges than negative ones, making it positively charged. Look at this. In this, we rub together and look at this. Because it collected extra negative charge, it becomes negatively charged, which is the plastic rod. Okay, and the wool lost some of the negative charges, it is left with more positively charged than negative ones, making it positively charged. Okay? So the next one is electricity. Electricity is a flow of electrons around a circuit. So, electricity occurs naturally. It is made up of microscopic electrons. They move and carry on electrical charges. So, basically, in simple word, electricity is a flow of tiny moving electrons. Like we use electricity every day in object all around us. Electricity can produce heat, light, sound, computation, and movement. So it happens naturally in the world like a flash of lightning. These microscopic electrons carry a negative electric charge as they move. Okay? So the next one is static electricity. It is a buildup of stationary electrons on a surface of an object. The shock comes from the transfer of electrons to an object that is more positive. Static electricity is created when an object has more of one type of charge than the other. Both positively and negatively charged objects have static electricity. So basically, we can say that static electricity is a buildup of electric charges on the surface of an object. Like you get a shock when electrons quickly jump from a negative charged object to a more positive one. Okay? Static electricity can make charged objects push or pull on each other even when the objects are not touching. Objects with the same type of charge repel or push apart, and objects with the opposite types of charge attract or pull together. For example, a positively charged object will repel another positively charged object but attract negatively charged object. So basically, we are saying that static electricity allows object to push or pull each other even without touching, like object with the same charge push away from each other. For example, positive repels positive, whereas object with different charge pull toward each other. For example, positive attract negative. Okay. Electrical discharge. So, static electricity can also give you a shock. Try rubbing your feet on the carpet and then touch a doorknob. You may get a shock from static electricity. This shock is caused by an electrical discharge. So, basically, we are saying that it is when a large amount of negative charges, like static electricity, quickly jump or flow from one place to another. Like this sudden movement of charges is what causes a shock. Okay? An electrical discharge is when many negative charges from static electricity flow quickly from one place to another. An electrical discharge from your hand to a doorknob may give you a small shock. So basically, we are saying that you rub your feet on a carpet, which builds up extra negative charges on your body, and you touch a metal doorknob. Like the charges quickly escape from your hand to the knob, giving you a small sudden shock. Okay? Okay, student, here's a diagram of electrical energy conversion. Okay, look at this. This is a chemical energy. Okay, so battery chemical energy converts into electrical energy. Okay, and electrical energy goes into the car and converts it into kinetic energy. Okay, and electricity also flowing into the light bulb, which converts into light energy, and electricity flowing into a TV converts into sound and light energy. Okay, and also fuel powering a rocket converts into mechanical energy to make it fly. And look at this as example. The energy from food, which is pizza, okay, converts into energy to work to run, okay? So this is the diagram of electrical energy conversion. So the next one is electric circuit. An electric circuit is a path that electric current can flow through to power a device. Electric circuit are made of different parts. So basically, an electric circuit is a complete closed path that electric current flows through to a power a device. Okay? And every basic circuit is made up of three main parts. The first one is energy source, the second one is load, and third one is conducting path. So basically, an energy source provides the energy to make an electric current flow through the circuit, which is battery, you can say. This one. Okay? Like it provides the push or power to make the electric current flow. The load, which you can say is bulb, the device that uses the electricity to do something like making light, heat, or sound. Okay? And conducting path, which is the wires like this, these. Okay? The metal strings that connect the battery to the load so the electricity has a path to travel on. Okay? So the next one is conductor and insulators. The conducting path in a circuit must be made of a conductor. A conductor is a material that allows electric current to easily flow. For example, metals such as copper are good conductors of electricity. This is why electrical wires are often made of copper. So basically, electricity needs the right materials to travel safely. Like materials are divided into two main groups, which is conductors and insulators. So conductors are basically the materials that allow electric current to flow through them easily, like metals like copper. This is why the inside of an electric wire is made of copper. Okay. Some materials do not allow electric current to easily flow. These materials are called insulators. For example, plastic, rubber, cloth, and wood are good insulators. Okay. Electric wires often have a covering made of an insulator. This prevents electric shocks that can be harmful to people. Okay. Like they are the materials that do not allow electric current to pass through easily, like plastic, rubber, cloth, and wood, etc. So, why wires have both electric wires are basically a team effort. Like the inside is a conductor, copper wire to carry the electricity, and the outside is cover is an insulator, rubber or plastic coating to protect you from getting a harmful electric shock. That's why we can say that the wires have both conductor and insulators. Like the inside of the wire is conductor and the outside of the wire is insulators. So here we have conductors, insulators, and resistors. So conductors let electricity flow through them. Insulators do not let electricity flow through them. And resistors are partial conductors of electricity, like they reduce the amount of electrons that can pass through them. Okay, and here we have example of conductors like paper clip, penny, nickel, nail, water, etc. And marble, rubber band, eraser, porcelain are the examples of insulators. And light bulbs, fuses, circuit breakers, surge protectors are the examples of resistors. So the next one is open and closed circuits. So first you have to look at this diagram. Like this is the open circuit and this is the closed circuit. So a circuit needs a complete conducting loop that connects the energy source to the load. This forms a closed circuit in which electric current flows. Like closed circuit is basically you can say on a complete unbroken loop from the energy source to the load. Okay, like the result is that electric current can flow and the device turns on. This is the closed circuit. Okay, whereas the open circuit, if there are any gaps or breaks in the loops, the circuit is open like this. Like you can say this is a gap and electric current will not flow. Like in simple, we can say that basically off, like a loop that has gaps or breaks in it. Like this results in electric current cannot flow and the device turns off. Okay. So the next one is magnitude of magnetic force. You can change magnitude of the magnetic force by changing the distance between them. Like the magnitude of the magnetic force is greater where there is a smaller distance between the magnets. So in simple, magnitude just means the strength of the force. Like you can make a magnet's push or pull stronger or weaker in two ways by changing the distance. Like the magnetic force is greater when magnets are closed. Okay? Like the force gets weaker as you move them apart. By using magnets of different sizes, like the magnitude of the magnetic force is smaller when the magnets are smaller. So basically, larger magnets generally have a stronger magnetic force, and the magnetic force is smaller when the magnets are smaller. Okay, so basically, sizes matter. Okay, student, this is a previous slide. I forgot to explain this. So, magnetic forces. Okay. Magnets can pull or push on each other without touching. When magnets attract, they pull together, and when magnets repel, they push apart. These pulls and pushes between magnets are called magnetic forces. So basically, magnets can push or pull on each other without touching. These pushes and pulls are called magnetic force. Okay? Attract means that they pull together and repel means that they push together. Okay? So, the strength of a force is called its magnitude. Like simply means the strength of the force. Magnitude simply means the strength of the force. The greater the magnitude of the magnetic force between two magnets, the more strongly the magnets attract or repel each other. So basically, a higher magnitude means a stronger force making the magnet attract or repel each other much harder. Okay?